I don't think Complexity is really even good enough to compete with them. So I would be surprised if they managed to put up a good fight, but it would certainly be cool to see to a certain extent.
Yeah, this is actually the time for Complexity to show and prove people wrong. Coming in as well, they have 8, we mentioned in the pregame, into this roster. He's been the latest addition as well to Complexity, also being the new in-game leader or the latest in-game leader for Complexity, taking the role over from Def coming into this one here. So we're seeing that knife round, it finished around.
And hopefully that helps Def out. Ooh, that's a cool sticker. Go back to that. Yeah, that's the cool thing, because with Def, I mean, if he is the in-game switching it up, because he's one of the players that hasn't impressed in terms of his skill. He's one of the players that when they came in, everyone from Complexity is, and this guy's incredible. We love what we're seeing out of him in practice. And maybe taking some of the responsibility of micromanaging the whole team is going to help out a little bit. I think it's going to be interesting to see Complexity. They win the knife round. Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be surprised if they actually started the CT, which seems a little crazy, but I think at the moment, especially with a team that struggles at times, T-side might be a little bit easier on this map for them.
Well, let's see what's going to be the case now. The first match to start off the Northern Arena presented by Bell here in Montreal. It is going to be G2 versus Complexity. Looking at the roster rundown brought to you by Mise au Jeu. We have Scream, Smith, Body, RPK, and Shocks. And for Complexity, on the T side, it's Surreal, Def, Android, 8, and Uber. And as you're looking at it so far in this minimap, pretty standard in terms of a setup for G2. Actually not really playing for a retake. They're just setting up for spots, and it's a quick rush for Complexity inside B. Yeah,
Smith has gotten pushed a little bit, but he can just survive back here as long as possible. Here's RPK, and he's not landing anything. He's usually a rock at this B site, and Complexity's just taking it over. They've swarmed it. 2 opening kills, and G2, Scream's got to make something happen. He's going for the taps, but he can't land anything. Now he's got to be passive. He's got to wait for his teammates to come in. Shocks is on the flank, and that could be the next saving grace.
Can't really know him for his 1 taps right now, and still very healthy for Complexity as we do have this bomb plan for B main also at the B bomb site. All 5 of them set up now, and they're just watching flanks. This is going to be very hard for G2 to take this. They don't really have any nades to work with as well, so they have to go for the face peeks, and it's going to be Shocks finally getting the first kill for the team. For the CT side, he's at the entrance of B. Body is coming in from the CT spawn, and it's going to be a sandwich pinch. It's going to be hard. They're pushing in right now for Complexity at the same time. 8 and Surreal going to go for the bait game. The first one, and it's going to be Surreal that wins it. Shooting that bullet just above him, and that bomb is going to go off at this point. They're coming out for the hunt. Shocks is the last man saying, you see it right now, he just wants to save his armor, the investment that he put in there. Bomb is going off, pistol round for Complexity, and that's a good start.
Yeah, that's a really nice start for them. Just very, very aggressive towards that B site, not spreading out whatsoever. And even, I mean, the big benefit, I mean, not big, G2 loses the round, but Shocks saving that armor. He can upgrade to free head armor for, or not free, but it's, you know, cheaper, $350. So he'll have a strong buy into this round. But Complexity do come out with a surprise, a shock, and this is part of where G2 has really struggled in recent months. Is you know, Shocks and Scream have still been doing a good job, but it's the other guys. It's kind of like the role players. It's guys like RPK, guys like Body, who haven't been having the same impact that we saw when this team was competing, you know, for the finals of ESL Pro League and winning the finals at ECS. Those 2 players specifically, and especially on this map, RPK at the B site is a huge role on this defense.
We've also talked about or looked at the criticism of Smith as well with the AWP for the teams. We'll see how that's going to happen once we get into this gun round, but things are playing very calmly in this round, the second one, for Complexity, as they're expecting maybe some sort of push to start things off, but you could see it right now. It's going to be a full pistol buy for G2, and pretty standard, same thing as they did on this pistol round, to just try to play the spotting positions and try to see if anybody's coming through.
This is where the Complexity can really fall into a trap. We saw how aggressive they were on the pistol round, but it's usually these anti-ecos where you know this can be so deflating that you're a little bit hesitant to be that aggressive again, hesitant to take fights because you don't want to lose against these pistols. And this is where Complexity has to be very careful without sacrificing that aggression. So 4 players actually here for G2. They have a good read on this situation. 1 back by Truck, and Scream is going to be over here. There's 2 players here. Actually, this is not good. They're grouped up, and you can see Scream just has to get out of there. That's some miscommunication. He's not going to be happy about that, and Complexity manages it so very well. 3 quick kills for them. Shocks does some damage, but there's not a whole lot of danger of them losing this round unless Complexity, they continue to take these fights and just drop like flies. And there's Smith's on the flank. 1 kill for him. Pop Flash going to come in, but he's now at least boxed them in. And Def and Surreal are extremely low.
Def at 6 HP. They also have mollies to try to delay their rotation from the CT side, but at this point you're just looking for exits and just try to hurt the economy. It's working well, and now it's going to be Shocks, the last man standing. 2 versus 1. He doesn't have the kit to work with, so he's going to have to work in quick. Nice headshot there onto Android, but now the position's given away. He's inside the site. 6 HP remaining, and Def is going to be able to clutch it, but that hurt a lot in terms of the economy for Complexity.
Yeah, I mean, it's T-side, so it's going to be a little bit easier to manage, and it was a full investment from G2, so they're going to have to save this round, but that got way too dicey if you're Complexity. They had everything they needed in that round. and they almost give it up there right at the end. So they do lose a lot of AKs. They'll have to rebuy those. But it's Smith's on the flank who does the damage. You can see once he gets that original kill, there's one at Forklift, and the other two members are very, very low inside the bomb site. And Def's very fortunate because Shox actually looks like he's going to clear that angle and just kind of goes away from it right at the last second. But you can see the damage that's done to the money. There's less rifles on this complexity side. They have more SMGs. So they're going to try and build up some bank.
Exactly.
And they'll still be hurting in the next round, the first buy round. So this might be a situation where if they win this, they might keep some of these SMGs just because they don't want to spend the money to upgrade.
Yeah, so far okay for Ape to keep it with the UMP, but you really want the MAC-10s to get these kills to build up that econ. Thankfully, again, as you mentioned, a full save coming in for G2, so that they're not going to have that much of an impact in terms of firepower. Already one down, that's RPK. Body is about to get dropped here by Ape, and that's going to be towards that A bomb site. 3 more remaining for G2, spotted now up on highway, and that's Android picking off Smiths. And now inside the site, Scream taking down Shox, last man standing. Easy sweep coming in now for Complexity.
Well, here's the question for G2, because last week was Shox picking up the AWP over Smith. So is that still going to continue? Are they going to be able to actually, so Shox just buys it up. It's glass cannon. So Smith's is going to be on that M4. So they're going to continue forward with this. And that brings in the whole new question of, is this a loss of confidence in Smiths? Is this something that the team has decided they want to change up how they look? But either way, they're losing that aggressiveness, that playmaking of Shox with the AK-47. Still a very competent opper. He's still going to be very dangerous with that weapon. But you do lose a certain amount of value in him with an AK.
So gun round coming in, and at the same time as they're setting up and taking it slightly slower than before, I want to know your thoughts here. Should it be the same thing as what we've seen with Kenny S? Sorry, not Kenny S, but Kusta for CLG when he had to actually drop about it. We can talk about it a little bit later. They're executing inside B right now for Complexity, and it's going to be the first one down inside the site, and that is RPK entry by Def as they're still trying to move in. They have taken over, actually. Scream is actually on the top of Heaven. Need to get inside the site to try to get a plant. Nice molly to keep him from getting any shots there. That's going to give a chance for Android to plant the bomb.
I like this round by Complexity. Just once again going right back to the pistol, just group up, hit the B bomb site. RPK can't hold it off. He actually got isolated. It was just, a little bit unfortunate on the rotation, and G2's already going to call for the save. And this is really Complexity just punishing the fact that they know G2 is going to be low in utility, so they're not going to have the nades to hold off any kind of mass push like that. They're also not going to have a kit to really, be able to be patient on a retake scenario. So once they get into the B bomb site, this is essentially over. And G2, smart decision by them to just save it. Why risk the weapons? This will allow Shox to have armor in the next round. This is going to allow RPK, he'll be able to get back into the round with some weaponry. They'll have a little bit more utility, so they can be a little bit more versatile on the defense. But if Complexity is just going to stay grouped up like this is where you'd expect G2, when is the adaptation going to come in of them getting a little bit more aggressive? Instead of waiting back for the aggression from Complexity, see what you can find. Get a little bit aggressive, try and take some map control as CT, try and find out where they're going to be attacking. Because if Complexity stays grouped up in these gun rounds like this, that'll at least give the indication where if you see 1 or 2 players, you kind of know where the end goal for Complexity is.
At this end, do you think G2 would want to play like a gamble stack site and play retakes on the other ones if it continues that way, seeing Complexity always working in this group so far?
I think they're gonna. I think what you'll see is this mid control isn't bad because if you can keep this control as CT, you have quick rotations to each of the bomb sites through those vents, through up highway. You can also be aggressive and boost over and have a delayed flank. And actually, there's a boost up from Complexity. So this is just pretty standard stuff. A default now for Complexity. They do go away from that that faster pace group up attack. And Scream, he's actually feeling under a lot of pressure at the moment. And again, a little bit of miscommunication. Look at how they grouped up. It was RPK and Scream right underneath the vents together. And they're, this is, look at guys from the defense.
They had the great gamble to stack here towards this mid side, but they haven't come in point of contact from either team so far. 4-0 in the lead for Complexity as that clock is dwindling down here at 1:05. So they still have plenty of time to work with for Complexity, and they're I guess expecting for some sort of pushes towards mid-side. You could see how they're holding very straight back here towards the T-spawn for 2 of the players, including the bomb carrier. Yeah,
but now you're going to see Complexity. They're going to apply a little bit of pressure. Oh, that's nice spam. That's very fortunate for Body. The last bullet gets that kill, but I don't think he realizes how much pressure is on him at the moment. He's not ready for Surreal to turn the corner. Good entry into the bomb site, down into a 4-on-4. They're going to get the plant, and Complexity has time to set up in post plants. They're going to have a quick flank coming in. You can see Scream. He's going to be going towards the door, and they have a main control. That's going to be Surreal watching for a flank in that way, and 3 members inside the site. There's no one at that critical spot at Forklift. That's so important for Tees to hold, and no one is there at the moment.
That's right. They're stacked inside the site for Complexity, and originally 1 at quad or 3 inside there. So let's see how that's going to pan out, and Scream's going to get the first backstab, and you called it. Nobody at the Forklift. One's out and exposed, but Def and Android going to work. It's down to a 2-on-1 in favor of G2. Surreal, make it a 1 versus 1. Shox taps the bomb, peeks out, gets the kill with the op. And G2
Oh,
don't
no, he
have
doesn't.
time, actually.
Yeah,
He doesn't have a kit. So it's going to be 5-0 now in favor of Complexity. So it was a little bit of a mishmash there for Complexity to hold that bomb, but thankfully they had the timer on their side.
Yeah, they're very fortunate that door flank didn't pan out the way they wanted. Yeah, I mean, with that much time, it is a big mistake from Complexity not to have someone at that forklift. That is such an important position to watch so many different angles to support against the retakes. Still, they manage it well. They're very, very fortunate Shox doesn't have a kit there at the end, despite the fact that they saved the previous round. I feel like he might have been able. I didn't see if he was the one to drop the Famas, but I think he could have afforded a kit. So mistake from the G2 side, but they're right back into a buy. And the money, I mean, Def has a misread on the situation. Complexity thinks this is going to be a save, so it's fast-paced, and it's going to work out a TK with the help of Def. But the rest of the team, this is once again 4 players towards this B bomb site. And G2 hasn't shown they're able to hold this off. It's just Smith's up top, and he's going to have to fall away. He gets blinded. He's just holding an off angle, but he's not going to be able to stop them from getting into sight. And in fact, Uber's just going to take him out.
Nice entry. And now they also cover Shox one more time for a smoke towards the CT spawn, and that's actually a good job from Complexity. That previous round as well, when Shox was trying to op up on highway, they had the perfect smoke for them to execute and move inside the site, so they're really nullifying the M4. And you can even see it right now. Shox decides to pick up the M4 instead, and maybe try to get a retake going on here with G2, but they're trailing behind by 5 rounds, and a nice spray. That's going to put Uber down to 51. He's holding up towards that back boxes of checkers, but they're still going to try to execute to get this. They do have 2 kits to work with this time. Doesn't. 2 of them has already been dropped. It's going to be Body, the last man standing on the top of heaven. Spots Android, at least put some econ damage there, but he's going to get hunted down. Ape is going to peek out. They're going to get the battle. He wins it, and now it is 6 unanswered rounds for Complexity.
Well, all right then. So G2's this is a little bit surprising how this is coming to fruition here. The question for G2 becomes when do you call a timeout? Because this is getting out of control, and it looks like maybe, I mean, I'm assuming since we haven't gone back in game, this might be. Nope, it's not. Thought that was going to be the timeout. But this is where the tilt's going to start coming in. And now, I mean, you can see G2, they don't have an AWP on Shox. They only have the M4. Is that going to help? And at the moment, this is just very simple stuff from Complexity. Set up in some default, some light pressure. You could see even that pass run is just a MAC-10 coming out mid. They thought it was going to be a save.
Yeah.
And even catching him off guard. So when does G2 decide to be the aggressors in this situation?
And the advantage of that, too, is Def with that MAC-10, he gets that information. He knows that 2 guys was towards mid. He loses a fight, but he already made a trade, thankfully, from a TK that gives a chance right there for Complexity to say, all right, well, there's going to be a weakness somewhere. It's B. They just hit it. Maybe they're going to try to utilize the same thing with Def, continue with the MAC-10, depending on his economy right now. Maybe use that same type of strategy to utilize him to pick up that information.
Yeah, I mean, this is now going to be just a tough situation. I mean, they don't have the group up. Def's going to be in mid, but they don't have the grouped up to hit a bomb site. So Scream, this could be very fortunate for him depending on when he peeks up. But I don't think he realizes that one's already up highway. And there is a boost, but the MAC-10 is not the proper weapon for that. And I think Scream, at any point, if he peeks out and peers up highway, he's just going to have a free kill, but he's not going to do it. Dev's going to fall away. They know the boost is there. There's Android with the pickoff. Body now inside the site. He's alone. Scream is rotating over, only with the UMP. No utility, and another kill. There's no synergy on this defense for G2. It's just single players falling time and time again. Scream's getting the next one to try and make a play, and it's not going to happen. And Def is still here cutting off rotation. Smiths wants to push through that, but he knows he would have burned alive. This is a disaster for G2. They're about to go down 7-0.
That's right. Now they're just crossfiring to save their weapons, and they're pushing down on the hunt. Managed to keep Smith alive, but with only 3 HP. Gets a third. Nice one there. 2 versus 1. No kit. You know he wants to save this. But again, it's Def getting so much information on the mid side, even cutting rotations from the Z-shaped hallway. They have to fight this a little bit better here for G2.
This is just a G2 that does not look confident whatsoever in what they're doing. And then maybe, I mean, the pressure from some of these early rounds of grouping up and just hitting bomb sites on the extremities has thrown them for a little bit of a loop here, but they don't seem to know what they can do to get into the action. Obviously, it's not helping. Scream with 1 kill. I mean, there's just barely any kills going out. RPK with 2, Scream with 1, 3 on Shox and Body. Smith's leading the way with 5, which... But, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, when was the last time you were like, oh, Smiths is leading the way for G2?
And it's only 5 kills, though, right? So what's going on? It's the weakness from the bomb sites being held by G2.
We did talk with Warden before this game started, and he talked a lot about how Android is someone that he's a big fan of, that he thinks has a lot of talent. And look at the ADR he's pulling out in the first, 7 or 8 rounds, 170 ADR. That's a lot of damage, so huge impact from Android at the moment. As he's leading Complexity to what's looking like it could be an opening upset here at Northern Arena, presented by Bell.
That's a great start. And again, I just want to know your thoughts. I mean, it's the initial holds that are important here for G2. They seem to lose the B bomb site quite easily and always forced to play these retakes. This is why you see G2 always on the lowest scoreboard right now. They're stuck on a 5 versus 3. They're stuck on a 5 versus 2. There's no trades coming in from G2 side of the defense that gives a chance for them to play that retake. So that's why you see these low scoring rounds for these players.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen so many times, yeah, they just lose the bomb sites. I mean, that's the big thing. Their initial holds at A and B have been just so weak. I mean, we've seen RPK struggle to hold the B site on pistol round in the first gun round. We saw Smiths playing the B retake when he was in heaven, and he didn't get any action. He didn't get any kills as they entered the site. Over at A, Body's been there isolated a couple times, and he's gotten picked off. Maybe a 1-for-1 trade, sometimes not even that. There's just no success initially on these holds for G2, and now they've got to go back onto what's a little bit of a half-buy. They have armor, they have some deagles, they have a scout on Smiths. But whatever they're doing in the gun round's not working. Complexity is doing a phenomenal job. This might be something that can throw a wrench in it. Body and Shock's playing a bait and switch over towards door.
So 7-0 right now. G2 have used their single timeout for the map. And it's going to be Smith even peeking out long towards B, and he spots the first one, but no connection.
Yeah, but this isn't bad. This is almost what you'd want to see this during gun rounds, though. Like that kind of aggression. That's what we're talking about. Cache as a map allows for a lot of defensive aggression, defensive information finding. And if they're going to do this in Alice Smith's, and now he can just be a nuisance. They don't even know where he's here. He's gotten 1 kill. He's gotten a tag on Uber. He's going to go for more. Misses that shot. Now he's boxed in, and they're eventually going to clean him out. But RPK is still in the site. Smiths can't do anything else. And RPK's been damaged out of 23, so now it's all in the rotation. Scream gets 1 coming in through vent. Complexity, they're being whittled down. They've got to be careful. They got to get into the site quickly. And RPK, he finds a sick headshot. That's beautiful. And now blind is 8. RPK goes for more. Down into a 2-on-2. And next up is this flank through vents.
That's 8, thankfully for him, inside checkers, but now it's a 2 versus 1. And we have about 37 seconds left on this round, so he has a little bit faster. He does have the bomb now, and he's going to try to go for the plant. He's up against Scream and Body. After this plant, immediately it's going to be G2 pushing in. He hears the footsteps, and he's going to try to lean out, but it's going to be Body. Gets the deagle, and that timeout was what they needed, and they finally put a point on the scoreboard for G2.
Yeah, one of the few times that G2 has actually been able to slow down, a hit onto a bomb site from Complexity, and oddly enough, it's with pistols. It's RPK staying in the site for so long. He couldn't do it with an M4, but he's got that USP, and he knows he's at a disadvantage, so he's got to use, the boxes. He's got to use the mobility to find the advantage, and he does it perfectly. Now it remains to be seen if they can continue to do that into the gun rounds. I mean, this would just be a disaster. I mean, the nice thing is it's not too harsh of a reset if you're G2. So they have Body and Scream with money to be able to drop an M4s in the next round because they both survive. So even if they lose this and they save, they're still going to have a buy in the next round because they won that half buy.
So they're not quite out of the frying pan yet for G2. They have to win this round with minimal casualties as possible, maximum 2. So they could go for drops on the next, should it be that case. But looking at Complexity side, full AKs on the board. And they're going aggressive again inside B. A little bit of a body pump inside, or body bump rather, inside the smoke. It's going to be RPK trying. He hears the gunshots, and finally a big flash coming through. And that's going to be huge for G2 to hold this right now. Uber, the last man standing, stuck on a 4 versus 1 with the bomb down inside the B bomb site.
Yeah, now it's starting to get good. I mean, when G2 sees the read coming in, they know the style that Complexity has been using, just grouping and trying to overwhelm bomb sites. You can start cheating rotations very quickly. They haven't been considering so much the flank. Uber's some nice damage, even predicting that peek from Shocks. There's one more in vents, and there's just the peak. Shocks just swings out and ends it. There's some of that confidence you want to see. Hopefully that builds. But you can see now when the first action comes in at that B site, everyone from G2 just starts rotating. They know there's no finesse to this. This is where Complexity now, if they choose to, they can throw in a little bit of a flank or a little bit of a fake here.
Try to see.
Which, by the way, Warden loves fakes. The Wardino 4-1, named after him. Bomb at the door, 4 towards the B site. See how it goes.
Well, looks like it's not going to be the case, at least to start in this round for Complexity. So they have built that economy, but it's still been has dwindled out because of the pistols, the round that they lost against the pistols, rather. Because you look at the utilities, there's only 1 smoke in the hands of Def, and the rest really low for the rest for Android and Uber. At this point, it's going to be them just spreading out across the map, getting that information one more time on the 7-2 scoreline. Not the best hand you want in poker, but at least a good scoreline for the North American side here, playing this map on cash.
Well, Scream Nodding towards mid. So they've gone away from maybe G2 that they thought maybe that they talked about during the pause to say, you know, screw the mid control, screw devoting 2 to 3 bodies there. It just seems like Complexity's throwing 3-4 members at A or B every single round. So follow off that mid control, just kind of spot it, get the information, and go from there. 2 players at each site. You can see now RPK's rotating out. It's just going to be Smith's left there.
It's so quick. You mentioned that, right? You said there's not going to be any fine play from Complexity. They're just going to bum rush a site. But at this point, they throw one smoke. They already forced the rotation out. And then they see that there's no action. They still don't know where Complexity is at. So is it going to be a split? Is it going to be a fake? But it's going to be Scream trying to get that information.
Yeah, I think now they're trying to they're mind gaming themselves a little bit. Scream spots both. They double peek, and he kills both of them. That's an incredible performance. And then here's Shox taking the advantage of so much passive play, getting the angle out towards lockers. Now Scream can rotate back, and he's playing the hero this round. Those 2 kills in middle are huge. That prevents the split from coming in. It prevents any kind of information, and Android's cut out in the open. And he's down so incredibly low, and it's going to be a cleanup. So 3 straight for G2 out of the pause. And I think this is where Complex, I think their money's finally gone.
Yep. Great spray control there for Shox to hold that mid side. And again, there wasn't really anything thrown there. He's really counting on his aim and these fast peaks that he's shown on the previous round when he won that against Uber from top of heaven of B. So you're starting to see him come back now. 5-6 in his ratio in terms of kill and death. Scream now up at 7. So we talked about his performance that has come back here. So Complexity back on a reset in terms of the economy. And they're just going for pistols and only full armor for Uber. The rest, 2 flashes for Ape. And it's probably going to be just them rushing from A main.
Yeah, they're just going to get mowed down. This is just a slaughter. Body with 3 quick kills. Shox chiming in as well. They get all 5. That's well done from G2. No damage taken on the eco round from Complexity. And now, I mean, this is the tough part now from Complexity, because, you know, I mentioned that 4th round especially, but, you know, they've been able to abuse the fact that the economy has never been built up for G2. Well, now G2 has all the Molotovs they need, all the nades, all the smoke, so they can slow down these tactics. They can have counter flashes. They can have Molotovs and choke points. So if Complexity is just going to group up and hit 4 or 5 towards the B bomb site, there's going to be Molotovs in the way. They're going to buy time for rotations to come in from G2. So now Complexity has to come up with a new game plan. And now Smiths is feeling confident. Now he's going to push forward. He's going to find that kill. The immediate dink and the cleanup spray afterwards. And Android's got to be a little bit careful. And Smith's still going to go on the hunt. Now boosted up into vents. So changing the look of the defense.
Yeah, that was 3 of them pushing to start outside the B bomb site. And Smith actually did not need any help at all. They're boosted Surreal up. So him with the AWP now for the team. They haven't really utilized that side to start the first half here. And I think this is actually the first one when we actually see an AWP coming in on the T side. But he's nullified so far in terms of not seeing any information. But this gives a chance right now for him to also move up and take control of Z and also help Def to move up.
This is that aggression on CT side that we like to see, though. Look how much information Shox is gathering. Even bodies pushing up indoors. They're going to have a double peek from different angles, and now they're going to, you can see on the minimap, G2 has 3 players over towards the B bomb site. They don't even care about mid. They know no one's coming A. And this is going to be so difficult. Complexity, this needs to hurry up. Shox has already seen it. He's like a shark just lurking, and there's an opening kill from Smith. That's going to slow things down even further. And the only question now is Shox actually going to get a chance to pounce here? Is he going to have an impact on this round, or is Complexity just going to get cleaned up by the B defense? Here he comes. Now he lets go of the walk key, but Smiths and Body have ruined everything. Shox doesn't even have to get a kill. That's beautifully done from G2. The opening kill gives the option for that aggression, and they slowly just shrink the map, and Complexity doesn't even know it's happening.
That's where you kind of want to cue that Jaws soundtrack.
Yeah.
But you're kind of happy on Complexity's side that it didn't happen. They still lost the round, but they didn't get backstab coming through. But 5 unanswered rounds this time for G2. Doing a great job here against Complexity, even putting them in a double save situation in terms of just having low buys for Complexity.
Well, and here's the crazy thing. If you're Complexity, you're feeling so good when you're up 7-0. Like, and normally you'd say that's pretty good amount of rounds to have against G2 on the T side of cash. But then if you go out and you lose 5 straight, if you end this half 7-8, if you lose all 8 of the ensuing rounds, it's going to feel like a lost half. It's going to feel like you just got crushed. So they've got to find some more rounds here at the end, and that's a good start. Def finds Smith. They've still got RPK behind this box, and they're not going to clear him out.
Nope.
Oh, he misses the shots, though. That is a huge mistake. He still don't know he's there. How does Surreal not know he's in the box? RPK is able to do so much.
Okay.
I don't know how this has even happened. Big miscommunication from Complexity. They should have known he was there from the start.
Lessons learned here at Northern Arena because of the noise-canceling headphones issue we had in Montreal. We used even better ones in Toronto, where they actually
Are they canceling the noise in
rather
their ears?
Toronto to Montreal, exactly.
It's supposed to cancel the noise from the outside, not the noise from the game.
Basically, no communication going on there for Complexity's side. How many bullets has he with? At least 10 going through, and nobody has checked that box. That first kill that they got at the entrance of Checkers, they didn't expect the second one to be there. So a nice bait play for G2 on their side on holding the defense. So they're really mixing it up on the CT side. That seems to really fluster Complexity's offensive play.
That's just incredible. So 6 rounds in a row for G2 after being down 0-7. And look at Def. Now he wants to make a little bit of a play. He's going to be aggressive out mid. And because of how passive G2's been playing it, there it is, Scream. I mean, now he's got an AWP as well. Double up setup, Body's still fighting, and this seems to be the change. They're just saying, oh, have the confidence back, have the swagger to take these duels, and at least for the moment, Body's lost it. Surreal finds him. He sticks around a little bit too long. Interesting to see Scream opping in middle as well. And now he's rotated over towards the A site. So a lot of pressure about to be put on here. Can this op ring true? Is he going to get flashed? The utility better be good. And it only half blinds of it. Now he's... Oh, that's a nice shot. Good recovery for Scream. Goes for more. He's getting tagged up through the corner. And they're eventually going to start swinging over him. But Shox is here for the backup. Saving Scream's life. There goes Ape as well. That's beautiful from Shox. And again, slowed down on the initial hit. Complexity can find no entries.
It started so well in terms of their communication there. Ape, when he was spotted early in the round by Body, hit around the corner and said, Surreal, I need your help. He moves up, gets the pick, and that gave an early advantage. But I guess it's just that execution. It's the second time because 3 rounds ago, when they were on a pistol save and they went for a double flash to move inside the A-bomb site, I think it was a team flash. It wasn't well thrown. 4 of them were blinded. They got mowed. This time, they're trying to go for a flash entry, and Ape was blinded, trying to move inside the site. And that's already an easy hold going in for G2. And now you're spreading out, and everybody's out in the open just trying to take down Scream inside the site. But he stayed alive the whole time. Nobody was really committing into the site to get the kill or at least a trade.
Well, I mean, Complexity also gets that pick over towards door, and then they don't follow it up, and they don't have anyone there during that A execute. So Shox has allowed all the safety to just sit there and cut off anyone trying to aggress upon the site. Def now in an awkward battle with Scream. But again, this up close up, they don't seem to want to actually fight this, and he's just going to swing around wide. There's Surreal. That might have been a little bit over-aggressive from Scream. But look in the middle. It is Body who has control of the bomb that's dropped at red box, and they probably don't know this. This is going to be a really interesting interaction as he's got to hold this. He's got a flank coming behind him, but he's going to at least get one. He's going to at least find Def. Trigger Discipline to see if he can get any more. There's one in Vents, and the bomb has just been picked up. And now Body's got a pounce, but he misses his shots as well, and they still don't realize where he is. Now they turn around. He does sustain. It's into a 3-on-3, but Smith's with the auto sniper. He's going to man this down to Complexity. Cannot find a route into the site.
Can use the up, use the auto sniper. He gets 2 kills trying to go for a third, but Ape ends it. It's now a 2 versus 2. The bomb has still been picked up on the back of Ape here, and he's going to get the plan. So last round to go. 7 unanswered rounds for both sides. Who's finally going to take the lead? And in the first half, is it going to be Complexity or G2? Looks like it's going to be in favor of G2 to start with. Body and Shox rotating from the vents and B main. They get the defuse, and G2 takes the lead 8-7.
Yeah, not a bad half overall from Complexity. I'm going up 7-0, but when you lose 8 like that, I mentioned it, you're going to feel so demoralized. Yeah, that feels like a lost half. So a good recovery from G2. I think they take 1 timeout, and then it's 8 straight. Once they had control, I mean, you know, it's been something that we've seen in the past at tournaments. French teams starting out a little bit slow in the mornings for whatever reason. It used to be like the old Envy. They never really did good early in groups. Mornings and everything, so it seemed like maybe they just woke up a little bit there.
Yeah, and this is where like best of 1 works the best usually for North American teams, or just in general for underdogs. But we'll see. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, it's gonna be the second half between Complexity and G2 here at Northern Arena, presented by Bell. Welcome back, boys and girls. And we talked about it. I mean, we've seen the stats of how things have been going on for G2, a rough start, but you're looking at the end so far. pretty much good job for G2 across the board in terms of the damage that they've done, and they really nullified Android to start. You mentioned it was like 170 ADR.
That was in the first 7 rounds. So,
yeah.
I mean, you're seeing part of the reason why maybe there was a dip off, but also, I mean, artificially playing very well with Android having that much damage per round, because then you look at the rest. You look at guys like Ape and Uber, 46 for Ape, 38 for Uber. The fact that Android is so high is really masking the deficit they have there. And then once he slows down, which by the way, that's like an impossible pace to keep up for an entire half, that's when you really start to see the struggles come in, because you have guys who aren't contributing that much to the overall damage. That's when things start to get a little bit dicey. So nice recovery by G2, and this is now where it's going to be just as difficult for Complexity, because the CT side, especially on Cash, with how spread out it can be, with how many different ways you can exploit defenses, it's going to come down to a lot of individual skill on the Complexity side, and this is where G2 just flat out outshines them.
So we'll see if it's going to be the firepower of Shox and company that's going to be a little bit easier for them to overtake sites and win these battles, or can Complexity hold it back? I mean, you need other people now to step up. You see Ape and Uber at 46 and 38 ADR. Unfortunately, they didn't see that much action, but when they did, they actually didn't win that many fights, only at 9 and 10 and 6 and 10 for 2 of these players. What I like, though, from G2, from what I've observed since that timeout, was that buddy system that they had. Not only was it aggressive plays from G2's side, but it's also playing that hidden, like the ninja mode. You have one guy aggressively peeking out. If he loses the fight, the other one doesn't come out for a trade. He actually hides in a similar spot just behind. We've seen in the checkers side for G2 for B, and we also saw how Body played it with, was it Scream or Shox at the blue door at the A side. When Body lost, nobody committed on that. He hid inside that blue door area, and he was just able to backstab people quite easily. So that's a little bit of a mistake going on from Complexity side, where they weren't able to not only win the fights, get the entry, but actually make sure that they clear out those areas.
I think the big key for Complexity in the second half, I think the op is going to have to be very strong for them, especially on a map like Cash where you can have a double op setup. I think, you know, if you're just going to go pound for pound in terms of skill with rifles, I think Complexity is going to lose that battle way too frequently. They need to have an AWP that's going to be on fire, able to get a pick off at long range, able to, you know, make it a 5-on-4 early on in the round, able to control portions of the map. And then more than anything, they need to be that same decisiveness they had on the T side to start out when they were, you know, grouping up and just taking bomb sites very, very quickly. They're going to need to have that on rotations on defense. They need to be very, very good at swarming the point of attack from G2.
Well, with also how well Android's been playing so far for Complexity, he's also an anchor player in the B bomb side usually for them on the CT side. If he continues that up, maybe they might leverage him to just play solo B, and maybe it'll focus a little bit better here on the mid/A side. Double op setup, of course, we could see that with Ape. We could see that with Surreal. Ape is quite comfortable using that AWP as well. Let's see how it pans out, though, as we're about to start the second half. Pistol round underway. So it is going to be, again, Scream, Smith, Body, RPK, and Shox now on the T side. And look how aggressively they went towards mid. They also pushed towards Z. And now they spot a few guys towards tree, and they flank across. And it's going to be Surreal first one to fall in. Ape somehow still stays alive. It's a trade. It's a 3 versus 3. Smiths, RPK, and Shox on the T side, trying to move inside this B bomb side. And now Complexity will have to play the retake. Yeah,
this is sick positioning from RPK, though. He could, I mean, this is going to cut off that upper avenue of retake. And Shox doesn't have to peek. He can just bait his teammates. His other teammates are playing contact. Shox doesn't have to do anything. That's a free kill for RPK. And now it's just going to be so easy. They have to stream through this choke point. Shox sees both of them. And Complexity has to hurry this up. They have to get some very, very quick kills. There's one on the Smiths. Still have time. No kit. They've got to work their way in. And RPK is up top. There's going to be the kill from Uber. All of a sudden, this is doable. Shox in a 1-on-2, but still no kit. Remember, the time is a factor. They have to chase him down. They're not being aggressive enough. That's going to be an easy kill for Shox. And now he's going to win this round. He can just play this. He can toy with Android all day long. And it's not going to be a defuse. It's going to be a win for G2. Android just has to run.
Yeah, they had to push it together if they wanted to win that fight.
Yeah, but they hesitated.
Exactly, and they realized it. They're like, oh no, now we have to split up because we have no kit. There's no time. Somebody has to stick it. So it comes back to a 1 versus 1. They outplayed themselves. They did a nice try on the retake, but I think that rush towards mid was unexpected for Complexity's side. To be able to put RPK at his spot on the top of heaven inside B like that, it's unorthodox. It's not a spot you check when you go for a retake.
I mean, that's such a risky tactic, and it has to be, I mean, it comes down to the fact there were no eyeballs on the Complexity side seeing them go towards mid at all. So just coming through that smoke right into the connector, and there was no response. Android chances with the Deagle, and he's getting away. No one else from G2 is even peeking. I don't even know if he spots the head. He did just see it there at the end. Sticking around too long, though, he gets decapitated as well.
It started with a nice flash there from Ape, but after that, nobody's really rotated yet because he didn't get that much information. He only spot one guy, never spotted the bomb, so rotation's late. Shox is cutting through towards Z to go for that backstab, and it's going to be Surreal. He's going to get spotted, and he's going to see another one, two more. Easy kills coming through, thankfully from a flash. Triple kill. That's $1,800 on top of that with the Mag 10, and now they're slowly running away with this game.
This is what we're going to be talking about on this T side for G2, because they are going to have some of these tricky plays. They have the guys who have the confidence, have the balls to go just in a connector solo like that. I mean, it is an anti-eco, it is a Mac 10, but you're going to see this. I mean, Complexity's going to have to be very on point with their communication and how they rotate, because there's just so much talent from G2. If they get into the right position, they're going to be able to pick people off just left and right, just easy. So Complexity, they're going to be on pistols, no armor, into the next gun round, or into the first gun round of the second half.
And it's going to be G2, four guys actually with some machine gun scream with the AK-47, and they're utilizing him to go for the long-range shots from the blue door inside the forklift. Meanwhile, you do have Boober at fork. First one to jump out, baiting out the shots, and now positions are given away, and they're just mopping them with the Mac 10s.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. A little drive-by through the smoke. Free plant. So yeah, this is going to be around for G2. And I mean, the bummer is, well, maybe not bummer, but G2 with so many SMGs, they can chase down these kills. And even if Complexity finds one to try and clean up a gun, only Scream has any gun worth saving into the next round. So as long as he stays alive, it's no big deal. And here's the bonus money. RPK, he's got 4 kills of that Mac 10. So G2 has plenty built up in the bank already.
And at that point, when are you actually looking for a pause on Complexity side? I mean,
yeah, they haven't taken one yet.
Shouldn't that have been done on the first half?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been the smart thing. That when you lose 8 in a row, at some point you call that pause. They don't do it. Maybe they felt like they could come back in it, and they just kind of lost track. But I think you call one pretty early, because I mean G2's already at 11, so if they win this round, good chance of them being up at 13. So I think Complexity, if they lose this round, they just call a pause before the next gun round. And here's the double op. This is what I said needed to happen. Opening shot. Smiths fools Android, and that's an op that's unable to be recovered as well.
It's going to be tough right now for Ape. They're going for that double setup inside B to start, and now he's going to have to play it a little bit more tight and passively for Ape. A couple of flashes coming through, but he's still going to be able to maintain his position, but as soon as that smoke dissipates, he gets headshotted by RPK. They try to take this mid control earlier on to help out, but Def is now stuck outside mid. They can't really take it. Interesting enough, though, is they still have a lot of time to work with as the bomb is down intentionally. Surreal missing that shot as you had Shox trying to get some information, and they're just losing every single gun battle right now here, Moses.
Yeah, no, this is all individual stuff as well. I mean, this is Smith out-dueling an Opper. This is Shox just walking into A, and again, having a one-on-one with an Opper and winning that. That's RPK waiting for the smoke to fade, winning an individual fight. So, I mean, yeah, obviously the opening kill, Smiths versus the Opper, that was Android. That's the fight Android wants. He wants that battle with the AWP, and he just misses the shot. So, a situation as well where he can't fall back at all, and he can't recover from that. So just that one mistake, that's a designed individual fight. But the rest after that is just a complete collapse and an outskill from G2 over Complexity.
That's right. So 12-7 now, continuing with 12 unanswered rounds for G2. From the first 7 initial from Complexity, G2 moving up towards mid for that control, and nice shot from Def to start up towards blue door. So he went for that information, got the 1D, but we have taken mid control. Smiths, rather, picking up the bomb and moving up with his team. They're looking to find more information across screen. Cutting one off the rotation, and Surreal from the blue door. He was coming to try to help Def, but they're just getting simply picked off one by one now.
Yeah, again, just a situation where G2 Scream just casually walks out, and he's like, okay, I don't see anyone, so I'm just going to keep going. And it's the same situation we saw with Shox at the A bomb site in the last round. He did the very same thing, just walked out main, didn't see anyone, just keeps going until he's challenged, and he's just confident that he's going to win that challenge. So this is where it gets dicey for Complexity. And they don't, I mean, already they don't have a lot of mistakes to give up. I mean, it was a 7-0 run, so it's now been 13-0 for G2 in response. Right. And this is where I think Complexity calls the timeout, and they do. Yeah, so I mean, this is a situation. Losing this next buy round is pretty much the match is over. So they have to win this.
So finally they go for the pause because they have the economy built up. At this point, the double up setup didn't work before because they tried to play it aggressively. Do you think they want to try to do something a little bit more passive this time for Complexity?
I still think that they're going to need the AWPs. I still think they should go back to that. I mean, yeah, they missed it. They missed the opening shot last time. That's a little bit of a bummer, but that's the only thing they have to kind of really even out the skill imbalance in this matchup, is they have to be able to find a pick. They have to be able to have a man advantage once an execute, once a bomb site is committed to from G2, because they're going to lose players. I mean, to outskill someone. He's going to kill someone in the fight that he chooses to take. So you need to have that man advantage to be able to trade that off.
This is where it changed a little bit as well for Complexity side on how they played our CTs versus how G2 plays it. We mentioned the buddy system for G2 side, but for Complexity, you see a lot of those pop flashes, the support plays from Ape to give a chance for Android to move out and get some picks. Maybe it's something that they have to utilize more for the rest across the map for Complexity to maybe stand a chance, because face-to-face duels are not working. You have to try to engage them when they're blinded.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be something. Well, I mean, again, it comes down to if you get into an initial engagement, you don't need to commit to it. You know, if you have that intel that they're going to have some presence outside the B bomb site, wait until they're in a position to where that pop flash can be effective. Def here, if he falls, this would be a disaster. So he's going up against Shox. He's got an advantage over the smoke, and that's a lot of intel gained as well. And this is just G2. They're transitioning into just a heavy B hit. There's going to be a pop flash. There's Ape. I think that was through the smoke. There's the pop flash. Android completely blind. Ape's got to hold on a little bit longer, but he recovers. RPK got to try and get into the site. He's waiting. They know where Ape is. They see where these nades are coming from, and RPK can't win that battle. Nicely done from Ape, even staying alive further. Good defense from him. Smith is brought down low, but Shox is still alive. And that is where it can get a little bit dicey, especially because he's got a one-on-one. What a tap. Deletes Def off the map, and now he's got the A bomb site open. Smith's can just fall away. Shox is going to single-handedly win this round.
What a good job by Ape to start inside the B bomb side, getting 2 kills, but in the end, the A side is open for a plant. And you also have somebody that could cut the rotation, but Smith instead is going to move out towards A because it's planted for him. So it's all up to Shox right now to not only stay alive and maybe get 1 kill if possible, because Smith is very low on the HP. He does have a Molly on top of that to work with. He wins it, and now it's up to Ape. 2 versus 1. Thankfully, they're both low. Now it's him versus Smith. He does have a kit to work with, but no needs at all. That's 3 kills. He's going to have to get a 4K to win this round. 13-7 as that clock is ticking down. He's going for that tap into the fuse. Smith is still waiting patiently, and there you go. Outplays him so far. Going for the second tap is going to be 8. And just the timing is off. As soon as he turns across, Smith peeks out, but that's too little too late now. The bomb is going to go off. It's going to be 14-7. As what a job there, single-handedly by Shox to be able to help G2 win that round.
Yeah, I mean, that shot from Shox coming out of that. Smart play. I mean, and that's what you have on the G2 side with Shox. That's what you have with a player of his caliber that Complexity just doesn't have. That ability when everything goes to hell, just say Shox, create something. And the over-rotation was there. Shox invents, just knows he's got a one-on-one coming from the A bomb site, and just immediately wins that fight and the round. I mean, and this is the thing, and that one-on-one as well, when your opponent's about to be on 14, just stick the defuse. I mean, if he's not going to peek, he wouldn't have peeked the second time, obviously. 20 on that one, but I mean, you have to go for the win there. You can't just let it dwindle away like this. It's been 14 straight for G2 now. They have complete control of this matchup, and there's an opening pick from Surreal with the AWP. That's nice for Complexity. And there's a second one. 2 kills for him, and it's down to just Scream and Smiths.
Yep, bomb is down now towards the vents on the outside, and Smith is moving inside the A bomb site. Uber is trying to hold it inside there, but he does have help at the same time from Surreal. Smith is trying to come across for the backstab. There's the first kill. Meanwhile, Scream has fallen towards mid side and the bomb is down, so this is looking to finally look good for Complexity. Finally, after 14 rounds, they put an 8th on the board.
They stopped the run. That's going to feel like a victory to a certain degree, but nicely done. I mean, it comes down to that off, right?
Baby
the opening
steps.
2 picks, and you have a 5-on-3 all of a sudden. So that makes things much, much easier. Still a long way to go. Thankfully, they don't take too much damage, so they're going to have a very healthy buy in this round. You can see everyone pretty much has anything they'll need. They all have kits. They have the op still on Surreal. G2 now. Full AKs. I mean, they're not slowing down for an AWP as well, so this is going to allow them to be very, very mobile, very fast-paced if they want to. Body, is he actually going to come out mid? I think they're going to go for a reverse boost here. This looks like it's what they want to do, and there's Uber with an opening kill, so nice find. I mean, this is the two opening kills in these past couple rounds for Complexity is going to help out big time.
So that was Uber looking out towards A main, and he drops the first one, which was Shox, and there's that reverse boost coming through. Def is about to go for the flank, spots him, goes for the spray, backstab onto Smith, but he doesn't get that much information. Android running through the smoke with, or should I say, it was Body going through the smoke with RPK to trade 1-for-1. Meanwhile, Uber is still holding the A bomb site. It's all up to RPK now. As they take control of that mid site, they have nothing else, and he's up against 4 guys, and they're actually going for that double peek. Uber wins that one. Great round for him. As you could see him on the screen, even the admin's happy like that.
Just happy to get some camera time. Hell yeah. Well, yeah, Complexity's still in it. I mean, they have so much money they have to eat through. I mean, look at how much bank is still built up on the G2 side. I think even after this round, especially if they get a plant, they're going to have another buy coming into the next round. So Complexity's essentially got to win 4 in a row if they want to finally dwindle the economy of G2 down. But it's a good start. 9-14, trying to make a comeback into this. No more mistakes for them to give. And it's not even anything like too crazy in this defense. It's just kind of a default at the moment. 2 at each site, 1 in middle. So a little bit of the aggression with the AWP has been quelled. And G2 really not selecting a site either. Both teams opening with just a standard default setup.
And you kind of like it this way from Complexity's side in terms of the momentum too, because now you're actually going for these battle fights. There's no flashes coming through. Uber getting a 3K. You had a couple of trades coming through mid on their own as well. Big backstab with no flashes. Shoxias in a great spot here just under Shroud Boost, and they're not even expecting that. So that's going to give a chance for Shox to maybe catch some in a rotation if he comes towards the forklift. Meanwhile, Body trying to get the first point of information. Contact onto Surreal, but loses the fight. So a 5 versus 4 to start things off again. The first opening kill on Complexity's side.
Yeah, but Shox has been in a phenomenal position. It's a little bit of a bummer that he hasn't been able to found anything, but he's the next one that needs to make a play to open something up for G2. He's waiting to see if someone's going to rotate back, but since Complexity hasn't played any kind of mid-centric setup, they've played 2 in the bomb site, no one's coming back to walk into his crosshair, so now he's got to go find something. And I think it's going to be a little bit unfortunate. He's not aware how wide he's swung, and there's the defense. Def and Uber even pouncing on top of the box. They've got it into a 5-on-2. And G2 has kind of lost the plot in this round. They don't really have a whole lot of places to go. They've just got to win these battles. Scream finds a headshot. RPK entering into the site. He gets one. They're not aware there's one in. I mean, that's still Def alive in quad, and he's staying alive. He's buying time, and RPK's got to get this quick, and he does eventually find it, but Ape's here for the trade.
That's right. On the trade, and that puts it at 14-10. There's no more timeouts left for either team, so we're going to continue on at this point. But a great job for Complexity, first off, to stop the bleeding, but now even to come back into this game. Now it's going to be possibly a mixed buy going on right now for G2 with the economy that they have, but they've finally done a great job here for Complexity to bleed that out. And on their advantage as well is the past rounds, excluding the last one, they've won it with only 1 guy or 2 guys dead, so the economy is being built back on Complexity's side too.
Well, they have G2. I mean, G2's been able to buy through this losing bonus as it builds up, but still, I mean, it's 3 rounds. This will be the 4th if they lose this one. So losing bonus will be growing, but I think they'll finally be out of money when they lose this. If there's a plant they'll be able to buy, they'll probably buy again, but either way, Complexity has done a great job once G2 gets to 14 of keeping them there. So RPK over in Checkers, he spots out Android. That's going to be a 1 battle. Nice off angle as that smoke is up. It just disappeared when he takes that fight, but it's been re-dropped in that choke point. So now, again, I mean, you can see the kind of idea that G2 has. Aggression elsewhere on the map, put Shox all on his own, let him make a play when he feels it's necessary, and he hasn't moved quite yet. He's in door, but he hasn't felt it was the moment. He doesn't feel comfortable making that move out of door. Is that a reverse boost in middle, or is he just out there? I think he's just out in mid. So it's going to be Uber all alone at this A bomb site. Now the rotation is starting to come in towards Truck.
He was at least able to waste a little bit of utilities on the CT side by opening that door, and that is Shox right there. But you could see the rest of them starting to execute in here. Really nobody rotated yet for Complexity side. Upshot missed by Surreal at the forklift, and they're trying to move in. It's going to be Def. One nice close range battle for Uber. Double kill, going for a 3rd with success. And now it is 14-11, and Mike Uber has that smile back on his face.
Yeah, he's happy. He gave it a little bit of a woo there.
Yep.
Not bad, not bad. I mean, he had the help of that Molotov right in that choke point. No one from G2 wanted to swing on him there, so that was a big bailout. But again, it just seems like, I mean, G2, they get bogged down that time. No one really wants to make that first move into the site, so you could see there was actually a big rotation for Complexity. It was Uber alone at that site for some time, and then the op gets there. Surreal comes over towards Forklift. They even have a 2nd rifle who arrives just in time, so they had crossfire set up across the board. Really, really well done on the read from Complexity. And now, with that losing bonus, you see a half investment from G2. They've got the pistols. They've got enough utility to make this execute work. And it's going to be tough. It's going to fall down to Android and Ape to hold off this, or not, yeah, Android and Ape to hold off this B hit.
Now, against Tech9s, I still am going to cross my fingers for Complexity side, and here comes the entries after the first flash, but it's going to be Ape getting the first kill. Body, though, made it his way towards the CT spawn, and they also clear out Checkers, so that's already the defense down. It's a 3 versus 3. They salvage 2 weapons right now for G2 side, which is an AK-47 and an M4. Def inside the vent, spotted, but still not damaged. Bomb is down. They're setting up here for the retake on Complexity side. They spot one here. Def at the entrance of the B-bomb site at Checkers, and that was Scream with that deagle. But Bomb Plat is going to go down.
There's been so many chances for them to find a pick as well before G2 could get into the site with the bomb, and they're not able to do any of it. So Molotov's in the site, and there's a good win from Body inside with the M4, the salvaged M4. Not like this, not against just Tech9s. Good win from Uber. But Complexity, they're trying to bring it back, and it's looked so good, but how fitting is it to just maybe drop the ball here on an anti-eco, and G2, it looks like they're going to snatch one away with these pistols. It's just out of Def. He's got no utility. He does have a kit, but he's got too many battles to win. and they can just toy with them. You can see Smith's baiting out the shot, screams out in the open. That's a little bit of a bummer, but I think he now has to just stick this. And G2 biding his time, and now he's going to peek out a good win, 15 for G2.
That is so close. Now, map point and game point for G2, but at the same time, this is kind of unfortunate for Complexity because when they won 7 rounds in a row, what did they lose against? Pistols.
Yeah.
Now they've won, what, 4 rounds in a row? What did they lose to? Pistols.
Yep. Well, I mean, it also comes down to the fact that, I mean, this is G2. I mean, when eventually the losing streak they just went on those 4 rounds to Complexity, it was out of defaults. It was kind of a little bit more slow pace. These with Pistols is just group up, emphasize the trade kills. They got 1-for-1 trades, brought it into a 3-on-3, entering that site with the Tech 9. So that's where the strength has lied. That's the success they've had against Complexity. When you slow it down and do the defaults, you aren't playing to that strength. So now they've gotten a little bit back into it, but there's Def with a gonna frustrate Shocks a little bit. RPK, it's his turn to come right through a smoke, but he misses the initial fight, and then he's just out in the open. So down into a 5-on-3.
And this is where it started well for Complexity when they started getting these rounds back. As soon as they got that first kill, they were able to manage to win. They were able to win the round right after. Now they get not only 1 but 2 kills to start. They're looking good to make it 15-12 as Android's trying to battle one, not the smoke bloom, so Smith stays alive for a bit.
That's gonna look a little bit silly, but I mean it's not a bad idea. Android just playing that. Oh wow, what a shot! Smith's all right. He's here. And now the bomb, that's a free, I mean, look at this, 3 players in the A site.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Smiths has just opened up B. This is now a very dangerous, I was about to say, it was so smart from Android. You know, it looks silly because he's hesitating to take that fight where he has a clear advantage with Smith's blind, but he doesn't want to give up any kind of man advantage, so he makes the smart play and just gives it up, doesn't commit, and then I mean, just is overexposed in the open, so Smith wins it anyways, yeah.
That's how it was stupid right after, unfortunately, for Ape and for Android. Now it's a 3 versus 3. They're moving in to get the bomb plant, and this map lies in the hands of Surreal, Def, and Uber. Big backstab from Uber to start, though, and that's already 1 down, and that's where they've been losing those fights. Getting that plan for the B main, they were toyed with, but now at least they get that first kill on the rotation. Now they're pinching in. Surreal peeking out. First one spotted at Generator, but they don't know that body's inside the side as well. Now a single peek. Smith gets the second kill. He's about to go for a 4K, maybe even an ace if he peeks out right now. Uber is moving through. He gets the first kill, and he does get the ace for the map and series for G2.
Yeah, even that retake there right at the end just seemed very disjointed. One above, one below, like they're not peaking together. The player up top has dropped much earlier than the player below even peaked. So I mean that was a little bit of miscommunication there at the end that we see from Complexity a couple times.